What's up, everyone? Today we're doing something absolutely insane. I flew to Texas, rented a car, and set out to explore 7 of the most forgotten ghost towns in Northwest Texas. We're diving into a world frozen in time, where stories and secrets are buried under dust. We'll walk empty streets, step inside crumbling buildings, and try to piece together why these once thriving communities vanished. The silence and emptiness are already creeping me out, but that's what makes this adventure exciting. Our first stop, a place that was once a booming industrial hub, now just a memory. Let's hit the road. Our journey begins in a place few people remember, Thurber, Texas. Once, this quiet patch of land was the beating heart of industry in the region, but today it's a ghostly reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. Over 100 years ago, Thurber was a bustling metropolis by Texas standards, home to more than 10,000 people. It was a thriving coal mining town with a massive operation that powered not just the state, but trains and industries across the nation. Incredibly, Thurber was also one of the first towns in America to have electricity, lighting up the prairie long before many big cities. Life here revolved around the Texas and Pacific Coal Company. The company owned everything, every home, every store, even the very currency people used to buy their daily bread. It was a true company town, where your job, your house, and your groceries all depended on the same employer. Workers flocked to Thurber from all corners of the globe, Italy, Poland, Mexico, and beyond. The town became a vibrant melting pot, with dozens of languages spoken on the streets and a patchwork of cultures blending together in the shadow of the mines. Coal was the lifeblood of Thurber. Day and night, trains loaded with black gold rumbled out of town, fueling the locomotives that stitched America together. The town's fortunes rose and fell with the demand for coal, and for a time, it seemed like Thurber would last forever. But in the 1920s, everything changed. Railroads across the country began switching from coal to oil, a new fuel that was cheaper and easier to transport. Almost overnight, the demand for Thurber's coal dried up, leaving the town's future in jeopardy. The company responded swiftly and ruthlessly. The mines were shut down, the machinery sold off, and the very buildings that made up Thurber were dismantled and hauled away. Families who had built their lives here were forced to leave, scattering to find work elsewhere. Today, the only thing left standing is the giant brick smokestack, a silent sentinel in an empty field. It's like a tombstone for a city that once buzzed with life, a monument to dreams that vanished almost overnight. If you look from above, you can still make out the faint outlines of streets and foundations, ghostly traces of where thousands of people once lived, worked, and raised their families. Now, the only sound is the wind whispering through tall grass. The silence is almost overwhelming, a stark, haunting contrast to the clatter of trains and the shouts of miners that once filled the air. We wandered through the old cemetery where headstones bear names from every corner of the world. Many mark the graves of children, a somber reminder of the hardships and dangers that came with life in a coal town. Each grave tells a story of hope, of struggle, of families who risked everything for a better life, only to see it all swept away by forces beyond their control. The faded inscriptions are a testament to the resilience and heartbreak of Thurber's people. Thurber stands as a powerful lesson in how quickly technology and progress can erase an entire way of life. Nature is slowly reclaiming what industry left behind, but the echoes of the past still linger. There's something haunting and strangely beautiful about this place. It's fascinating to imagine the lives that once filled these empty spaces, and a little sad to realize how quickly it all disappeared. Thurber is just our first stop, but already it feels like we've stepped into another world, a world where history is written in ruins and memories linger in the silence. Let's get back in the car. There are 6 more forgotten towns ahead, each with its own story to tell. The road through Lost Texas is just beginning. Next up, Medicine Mound. This place feels different, smaller, but the sense of loss is just as heavy. Named after nearby hills sacred to the Comanche, it was once a bustling agricultural hub. In 1933, a mysterious fire destroyed nearly every business overnight. The Great Depression made rebuilding impossible, and the railroad had already bypassed the town. Only a few structures remained: the old bank, its name still faintly visible, and the crumbling hotel. These buildings stand like skeletons, silent witnesses to a community erased by disaster. Walking down what was once Main Street, you see only dirt paths and foundations reclaimed by nature. The silence is profound. This town feels like it was murdered, not just abandoned. A few people still live on the outskirts, surrounded by ruins and memories. Medicine Mound is a stark reminder of how fragile our communities can be. On to the next town. Esteline is next, and the vibe here is downright eerie. Unlike the other towns, many old red brick buildings still stand silent and boarded up. Founded as a railroad town, Esteline thrived until a new highway bypassed it, draining away its life. The old hotel looms over the street, windows dark and empty. Locals whisper about hidden fortunes and ghostly outlaws. Legends say Bonnie and Clyde passed through, and their spirits, along with others, still haunt these streets. Walking past the bank, general store, and pharmacy, it feels like the residents just vanished. The wind whistles through broken windows, and every creak feels like a whisper from the past. Esteline is a perfectly preserved ghost town, frozen in time and full of legends. This might be the spookiest stop yet. Let's move on before night falls. We're in Claremont, Texas, standing before a massive, abandoned courthouse. Its imposing structure rises from the empty landscape, a silent witness to a town that once thrived but is now eerily still. This was once the county seat, the center of law, commerce, and daily life for Kent County. People gathered here for court sessions, community events, and celebrations, making it the beating heart of the region. Built in 1895, the courthouse was a symbol of stability and hope, surrounded by schools, churches, and a bustling square filled with shops and families. Its stone walls echoed with the sounds of laughter, debate, and the everyday rhythm of small-town life. But Claremont never got a railroad, and nearby, Jayton did. The iron tracks that brought prosperity to so many Texas towns bypassed Claremont, leaving it isolated as the world moved on. After years of political struggle and heated debate, the county seat moved to Jayton in 1954. The decision was controversial, dividing families and neighbors, but ultimately sealed Claremont's fate. The courthouse closed, businesses shuttered, and the town emptied almost overnight. Once busy streets fell silent, and the community that had called Claremont home scattered to new opportunities elsewhere. Now, the courthouse stands as a monument to a lost cause, its stonework and clock tower slowly decaying, weathered by time and neglect. The building's grandeur is fading, but its story lingers in every crack and crevice. The silence here is formal, almost judicial, as if the town is still waiting for a verdict that never came. Sunlight filters through dusty windows, illuminating empty halls where justice was once served. Walking the square, you see foundations of old shops and law offices, now just shadows of what they once were. The ghosts of the past linger in the ruins, whispering stories of ambition, hope, and loss. Claremont's story is a reminder that even the most important places can vanish with a single decision. The town's rise and fall show how quickly fortunes can change and how history can be rewritten in an instant. A vote was cast, and a town was erased. Today, Claremont stands as a haunting lesson in the power of progress and the cost of being left behind. Our next stop is Quail, Texas, a tiny, nearly vanished farming community that once thrived amidst the vast open fields of the Lone Star State. Unlike the others, Quail faded slowly as farming changed and families left for bigger cities, seeking opportunities that the small town could no longer provide. The heart of the town was its school and post office, both still standing side by side in ruins, silent witnesses to the passage of time and the stories of those who once called this place home. The old brick school is collapsing, but you can imagine the laughter and lessons that once filled its halls, echoing with the voices of children who learned and played here. Next door, the tiny post office was the town's link to the outside world, a place where letters and packages brought news and connection to distant places. Closing it was the final act that declared Quail dead, severing the last thread that tied this community to the broader world. Nature is reclaiming everything. Trees grow through windows, and the roof has caved in, as if the earth itself is gently erasing the traces of human presence. Life here was simple but hard, tied to the land and the seasons, with each harvest marking the rhythm of existence. The slow decline wasn't dramatic. Just time passing, young people leaving, and the old ways fading away, leaving behind echoes of a once vibrant community. Quail is a quiet memorial to a forgotten way of life, like hundreds of other small towns lost to time, each with its own unique story, now whispered only by the wind. Welcome to Doan's Crossing, a legendary landmark of the Old West. For years, this was the busiest crossing on the Red River for Texas cattle drives. Jonathan Doan built a trading post here in the 1870s, serving cowboys and travelers. The town of Doan's grew up around the cattle trade with a saloon, hotel, and a few houses. Famous figures like Quanah Parker passed through, making this a true epicenter of cowboy history. But barbed wire and railroads ended the cattle drives, and Doan's vanished almost overnight. Today, only a replica of the trading post remains, and the Doan family still holds an annual picnic here. Standing by the river, it's hard to imagine the thunder of millions of cattle, now replaced by quiet and crickets. Doan's Crossing is a monument to an era that defined America, now faded into legend. Our final stop, Vigo Park. No dramatic disaster here, just a slow, quiet fade into obscurity. Once a small farming community, Vigo Park was hit hard by the Dust Bowl and never recovered. The school closed, churches shut down, and families moved away. What's haunting here are the empty homes, still standing, but hollowed out and abandoned. We found one house with the door missing, wallpaper peeling, and dust covering the floor. You can picture family dinners, laughter, and everyday life now lost to time. These houses are personal museums of forgotten lives, each holding memories of those who once called this place home. Walking through the tall grass, there's a sense of peace mixed with sorrow. Vigo Park didn't die violently, it simply grew old and faded away like so many rural towns. That's it, 7 towns, hundreds of miles, and a journey back in time. Each place told a different story of ambition, disaster, progress, and loss. Standing in these silent streets, you feel the weight of every life and dream left behind. These towns are more than ruins. They're monuments to forgotten chapters of America. Thanks for coming along on this emotional journey. If you want to see more hidden places, hit that subscribe button. Every subscription helps me bring these lost worlds to you. I'll see you in the next one.